Hey guys, what is going on? McMole2 here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I am bringing you footage of Resistance soloing Phase 4 of the Heroic HAAT Raid. This footage comes to me courtesy of Ribeye. He's been doing this for about the past 2 weeks, and finally he was able to get a good solid run recorded that his computer didn't delete in the process. Thankfully, I've been pursuing him for the past couple weeks trying to get this. We were able to get this all together, and now for you guys to see how it's done. You'll notice that this run took about an hour, but I have it sped up about 3 times as fast. So really, it's going to be a bit of a long run, but it's definitely doable as long as you have the patience for it. We will go over the mods for this team, and you'll see in that section that his mods are not exactly god tier, so they're a pretty good set of mods that anybody can put together. We'll talk about the Zetas that he's running on this team and why you need these Zetas, and then we'll just talk about the overall strategy, and I'll let you guys watch out the rest of the fight on your own. So let's go ahead and go into the mods, and then we will go from there. When it comes to the mods, first we're going to take a look at Poe. You can see that he is running a set of speed and potency mod sets on him. His speed's at 266. This is the fastest resistance character that he has in this team. We'll discuss that in strategy why you want Poe going so fast. He's also running 56% potency on him, and then for the arrow you can see that he is running speed on that with a primary, and for the cross you can see he's running a potency primary for that. For Finn, it's going to be the exact same mod sets with speed and potency. 205 speed for Finn, which is very manageable with that kind of speed, and then 60% potency, not too bad there. You can see a potency cross on him and a speed arrow as well. And then finally with the speed and potency sets you have R2-D2, 251 speed there with a 67% potency. Again, pretty manageable speeds overall considering R2-D2 is already a pretty fast character. And you can see a speed arrow there and then a potency cross for R2-D2 as well. And then going into Resistance Trooper, he is running a crit damage and potency mod sets on him with an offensive primary on his arrow, potency on the cross. And then with the speed, he's running 169 speed, not that fast, which you're not going to need because of Resistance Trooper's unique, which we'll go into more detail about later. 56% potency, which again, not that bad, and 48% crit chance. Altogether, not too bad of mod sets and stats for him. And then finally, we have Rey. She is running crit chance and crit damage. She's going to be your main primary damage dealer for this team. You'll see at the damage screen, she pulls in about 6 million of this team's damage. She's going to be doing half your team's damage as it is. She has 193 speed. Again, not too bad there, with 216% crit damage, of course, with the crit damage triangle. 57% crit chance. She's going to be critting pretty often. And then 3100 offense. You can see on her arrow she has an offensive primary for that. Same with the cross. You don't really need to stack on speed for her. She's going to be going pretty fast anyways with all the exposes and the Zeta Finn leadership. So just stacking in that offense, making sure she hits hard is going to be vital. So those are your mods. As you guys can see, really not that bad. The 266 speed and 251 speed on R2-D2, that's pretty manageable nowadays that everybody's really catching up with the speeds on their mods and kind of getting those really nice speed secondaries now. So really that's the hardest part, is getting those speeds on Poe and R2-D2. Everything else is pretty easy to do. You can get pretty good base mods for speed that can give a little bit of speed, like for Finn there. So really, his 205 speed is nearly not that bad, and the trooper speed, you don't need speed on him. Just need to basically stack your potency and your offense for him, and you'll be good to go. So that is pretty much it for the mods. Let's go ahead and talk about the Zetas that he's running on this team, and we'll talk about why these Zetas are so important. There are 3 Zetas running on this team. 2 of them are required, the third one is highly recommended. The first Zeta is a leadership on Finn, and that whenever an enemy takes damage from Expose, it reduces the cooldowns of all resistance allies by 1, and also grants them 35% turn meter. This is huge because half of your resistance characters use Exposes or deal Exposes with their special abilities or basic attacks, and this is really going to help boost the turn meter for your team, help reduce their cooldowns, help them do more specials, which cause more Exposes, and help them go faster and reduce the cooldowns for all their special abilities. So really, this leadership is required, and that's what's been causing the resistance teams to do so much damage, is because of this leadership Zeta. The second required Zeta for this team is Rey's unique, so that anytime she uses a special ability, whether it's leverage or flurry of blows, she deals a daze to the enemy target and it cannot be resisted. She's going to be using these on the 2-side B2s, and that's going to be causing them to get dazed, and whenever the main tank takes damage, B2s have a 50% chance to gain 100% turn meter, but because they are dazed, they are not able to gain that bonus turn meter, and that's going to prevent them from moving and doing their AoE dispels or their basics, which remove turn meter from the target that gets hit. So getting dazes on those B2 battle droids is what's going to help make this team be able to solo the entire phase is it allows you to keep those two side B2s alive. As you'll see in this video, they're staying alive during the entire topple, and Poe's able to stack up exposes on the B2s, and that's allowing Resistance Trooper to go more often and stack up more exposes. So yeah, this Zeta on Rey has really been the main reason why Resistance teams are able to solo Phase 4 so easily now, and really this is the first time anyone's found a use for the Zeta on Rey, so really good job there. And then finally, you have the Zeta for R2-D2 on his number crunch ability. It's not required, but it's highly recommended. And this causes him to give 10% of his max health, protection, offense, and potency back to Droid, Republic, Rebel, and Resistance allies. And he gains certain stat effects based on the allies with him. Like Droids will give him protection, Resistance allies will give him potency, and the Resistance allies giving him potency is going to be huge for this because all those Resistance allies are getting him 10% bonus potency each. So there's going to be 5 Resistance characters here. He's going to gain another 50% bonus potency off of what he already has. So he'll run over 100% potency total, but then the Zeta causes him to give 10% of that back to the other allies. So really, he's going to be giving a 10% boost to the Resistance allies on their potency alone, not to mention their health, protection, and offense too. And then also his combat analysis unique gives him a 10% crit chance to light side characters too. So really, he's gonna be giving a lot of boost to damage and potency and everything else to the characters around him. And that's why the Zeta is so recommended. The Zeta on him is not required because he doesn't have to have the Zeta to make this team work properly, but that Zeta on there really helps round out your characters overall and make them deal more damage and really help them do much better and make this fight much smoother. And that is why it's not required, but it's highly recommended that you put the Zeta on his number crunch in order to run him in this team. For the overall strategy for this team, it hinges on exposes, and you have 3 characters in this team that can do that. You have Resistance Trooper on his basic, you have Finn's special takedown, and then you have Poe's taunt, which can do an AoE expose overall. And then Resistance Trooper gains 55% turn meter every time a target is exposed. And that's going to be why you want to keep these B2s alive, is because whenever Poe taunts, he has a chance to expose all enemy targets. And with those B2s still up during the topple, that's more targets that can get exposed, which means more turn meter for Resistance Trooper to use his basic, and then you'll see that his basic can do the expose, and that's really your most reliable method of getting exposes. It's the only one that doesn't rely on a cooldown. And then you have Finn's special, which has a 100% chance to expose once a mega, but it's also a special, so it has a cooldown, so that's not as reliable as Resistance Trooper's basic. But really, overall, you want to stack up the exposes on the turrets, and you want to have Rey use her leverage on the 2 B2s to help daze them. And then as the fight goes on, you can see that he's not toppling right away. He's letting the turn meter build up on the main tank, and that's with his attacks on it. And that the main tank gains 5% turn meter every time it takes hits from anything. That also includes exposed hits. So if he takes damage from an attack that also has exposed damage added on, that's 10% turn meter there. So you can see he's stacking up the turn meter overall on the tank, not toppling it until the last minute that he needs to. And then he just knocks down the turrets real quick, and then he goes with the topple. And then he keeps using the taunt from Poe to stack exposes on both B2s and the main tank, and that just allows everything to compound and allow the Resistance Trooper to go faster, allows him to do more exposes. You can see he's also at points using the special from Resistance Trooper to put speed down on the tank. He's really waiting until near the end of each topple to do that, and that's because at that point he's just trying to push the topple to the end and let the tank come back up with the smoke screen from R2-D2 keeping everybody alive. At that point, once he's ready to bring the topple to an end and allow the tank to rise back up, that's when he's using the special from Resistance Trooper to apply that speed down. It's about a 50% chance for Resistance Trooper to apply speed down, barring the tenacity check, but a lot of us have started to wonder about that. It feels more like 10% sometimes, but whatever. So you can see that, and then of course Rey just keeps going ham with her leverage and her flurry of blows. You want to rotate those two, because leverage is going to give her offense up if she has buffs, and then flurry of blows can deal potentially 4 hits at once. And really, if she gains foresight from her basic attack ever, that gives her advantage when it expires under the Finn leadership. And then if she can combine that with her flurry of blows, she can do massive amounts of damage. You're talking 60,000-70,000 in one hit, and that's going to be a lot of damage for her. Overall, Phase 4 has about 12.5 million damage, so you'll see in this fight, the tank only starts out at 98.5%, but really by the end of the fight he has enough left in the tank that he could have easily soloed it. He loses Poe at the very end with Enrage, but he was still able to clear it, and really he still had enough there in the tank that he could have easily killed off the tank with what was left on his team. So really that is the overall strategy. You just kind of want to daze the B2s on the sides. It should also be noted that he is letting the B2s last until near the end of the topples, and then he goes ahead and just attacks them, kills them, and lets all that exposes deal damage and help boost his resistance characters for one last move so they can stack in as much damage as possible at the last moment, help clear any cooldowns on the team, get R2-D2 smokescreen up, and without R2-D2 smokescreen, the buffs, the characters will die from the airstrike at the end. It will deal mass damage to any characters that don't have buffs on it, and that's why R2-D2 smokescreen is so vital here, because it makes sure that all of your characters stay alive before the airstrike and allow them to keep going. So really, he's just waiting until near the end. It's kind of just a feeling of getting it down and practicing it, but you can see he's waiting towards the very end of each topple, and then he's popping the exposes on the B2s, killing them off, and allowing him to get one last hurrah in with the resistance team to get cooldowns up and ready to go for the topple, and just kind of getting that last little bit of damage squeezed out. Overall, you want to aim for about 7 to 8% damage per topple. If you do 7% damage per topple, you should make it safely to the end without having to hit the Enrage like he does. He unfortunately got to Enrage right at the very end, but if you can aim for 7% per topple, you should be good, and you should be able to clear the tank without any issues overall. I should say it's recommended you use leverage, because flurry of blows can kill the two B2s, and really you want to keep them alive for most of the topple so you can get those exposes from post taunt. So use leverage on the B2s and use that to knock them out with the daze and keep them alive for the rest of the topple. But really, that is it for the strategy. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask below. But as always, guys, feel free to like and share this video. Subscribe to my channel for more content in the future. Let me know what you guys want to see. I'm still working on some more videos. I've got an Ewok versus the Arena meta teams coming out here sometime in midweek. Got a lot of videos from Oblivion 1 from Wallet Warriors. He's giving me a lot of footage to go over. Give me a lot of arena teams to fight. Also give me some raid footage that we can take a quick look at as well for that video. But anyways, guys, that is it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.